So you want to get your dog trained, but it's very difficult to find somebody that you can actually trust. Completely understandable. I only have like maybe 1 or 2 people that I genuinely trust with my dogs. Here's the thing about dog training. There are some really nice, good, responsible people, but unfortunately, there's also been a handful of people that have been neglectful and even abusive that have given the industry a terrible name. So in this video, I'm going to be going over some of the red flags that you can identify when you're talking to a dog trainer so that you can tell if this is a person that may have your best interest at heart. So one of the major red flags for me as a person and as a professional, also as a consumer, is if the professional, the trainer in this case, has very little patience with you. Meaning if you're talking to them, they're doing a consultation, and it seems like they're being a little bit too short with you. They're not showing a lot of empathy. They're talking down on you. They're making you feel bad about the things that you've done. They're making you feel bad about the entire thing. To me, that is a huge red flag. If a person, a professional, but particularly a dog trainer, talks down on you, this is already a person that is telling you, I have no patience for you, so why would I have patience for your animal? It relates. In my experience working with animals, working with people as well, and I've known a lot of dog trainers that have been just like that, very short with people, no empathy, no patience with people, that at some point it's always come out that eventually it's found out that they have no patience with dogs. They either get caught abusing dogs, they get caught neglecting dogs. So there's a strong correlation between how you treat a human being and how you're going to treat their animal. So to me, that's a huge red flag. If you like this video, make sure you share it with somebody else you think might need this information. The dog trainer should not be acting as though they're superior to you. Another red flag to me is they put very little effort into their professional appearance. This person might be an amazing dog trainer, an amazing professional, but if they put half the effort into how they look when they're meeting you, something as simple as just doing your hair, putting pants on, something as simple as just changing your shirt, looking somewhat professional, if they're not putting 100% effort into that, why would they put 100% effort into everything they do? There's a saying that goes, how you do one thing is how you do everything, and I strongly believe that's the case. It takes very little effort to just fix your hair real quick. It takes very little effort to look a little bit professional. I don't expect the trainer to look amazing, clean cut, 24/7. I don't expect them to look super, super nice, but they should not look like they just woke up from a nap. They should not look unkempt. They should not look like they really don't care about their appearance. This is a connection that I've made as well. I've noticed people, dog trainers, because I work with a lot of dog trainers that are constantly walking around, they look like they just don't care about their appearance. They're meeting you for the first time and they're not putting a lot of effort into their appearance. Again, I'm not asking for anything excessive, but if they're just wearing crop tops when they see you, shorts, they're wearing their sandals with socks, they haven't even shaved in I don't know how long, their hair doesn't look clean cut, their hair looks just messy. I've seen the relation between how they look and how they work dogs. Doesn't matter how amazing they are, by the way. They could be amazing dog trainers, but it's about the effort. It's so easy to look presentable. If you're not gonna give 100% to that, you're not going to give 100% into anything else that you do, training the dog being one of those things. So to me, that's a little bit of a red flag, and that's a personal opinion. Now, some people that watch this that look raggedy and go, no, I give 100%, hey, that's good for you. But again, how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? If you like the content, hit the subscribe button. Another little bit of a red flag to me is their experience is very limited. Now, in the first edition of the book, Selecting the Right Dog Trainer, I did specifically mention police dog trainers, police dog handlers. Now, I did mention that because this is the background that I come from. Okay, this is my first exposure into dog training was working with police dogs, and it was a pattern that they would try to basically train the pet dogs the same way that they would train the police dogs or the police dogs that they were assigned to. Look, training a police dog, training a working dog, there's a lot of similarities to how we train a pet, but it's about the limited exposure. So if the limited exposure that you've had has been primarily with one type of animal, and then we tell you, okay, well, now we're going to give you a different type of dog. Well, the techniques that you use on these powerful dogs that are oftentimes very impulsive, have very high tolerance, if we start applying some of that into the pet dog without very little thought into it, we're going to have problems. I've seen that happen, and I've seen some of the most outdated information come out of some of these trainers. Again, this was my experience at the time, so when I wrote this, I know I didn't do a good job at expanding, and I did generalize a little bit too much, so I want to make this portion of that book a little bit different. There are, in fact, some amazing police dog trainers. I know some of the best dog trainers also train police dogs, also train working dogs. So I'm not painting this entire section of the industry with one brush. I'm letting you know it is a generalization. It does hold a lot of truth to it, but there are obviously several exceptions here. The point is the limited exposure to a certain area of dog training. So if I primarily train small dogs, if I primarily train puppies, if I primarily train trick dogs, this may pose a challenge for me if I have to then train a very powerful dog, because even though a lot of the concepts are the same, there is a lot of areas that I have not probably explored due to my limited experience that will help me with some of these more powerful dogs. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I respond to practically every comment on every video, so let me know what you think. Another red flag to me is if the trainer is very quick to point to medication or euthanasia. Big red flag. If you're meeting this person for the first time or you're talking to them and very quickly their solution starts to hint medication or euthanasia, that is to me not, it doesn't make sense. You don't even know my dog, we're just talking, and right away, right off of that, you're telling me that we should medicate my dog and make it a little bit less stressful. I've worked with clients who've worked with veterinary behaviorists who have immediately prescribed this even without meeting the dog. Okay, now veterinary behaviorists, different than dog trainers. I have my own opinions about this. I've had a handful of experiences with clients that have gone to veterinary behaviorists that had that experience. They either hinted euthanasia or prescribe medication immediately. There are some dog trainers that are like that will tell you, yeah, we need to just go to your vet and start thinking about medication. Why hint that when you haven't even met the dog, right? So to me, that's a bit of a red flag. Another red flag to me is a cookie cutter approach, so one size fits all. I wanted to clarify that this is another generalization. Look, having a system that works is different than having a cookie cutter approach. Having a system that works is basically a template. When I have this template that works really well, I can fit a lot of dogs into this template, into this system, but I can still customize from dog to dog. However, being a one size fits all, it's a little bit different. I hope you understand what I'm saying here. So a one size fits all means I don't change anything about the approach from dog to dog to dog. That to me is problematic. Now, as a pet owner, how do you filter through that? Well, you can ask some questions. You can ask, well, what methods are you going to use? What tools are you going to use? The answer that the trainer should give you should be sort of broad. It should make sense to you, or it should point at the fact that your dog is an individual and that your needs are different from the needs of anybody else, right? You might bring me a Great Dane to work with. I've worked with the Great Danes before, but the approach that I'm going to take with your Great Dane will probably be different than the one I've taken with another dog, regardless of the breed, because your needs might be different. Your situation might be unique. So this is why I'm not going to use the same exact approach, although I can use the same system, which is a little bit different.